What does this sign instruct drivers to do? Option A. Goods vehicles must follow designated lanes. Option B. Overtaking is allowed for goods vehicles. Option C. Any vehicle can stay in any lane. Option A is correct. Goods vehicles must follow designated lanes. This sign is used to organise traffic, particularly near checkpoints or steep hills. It instructs drivers of heavy goods vehicles to move into specific lanes, ensuring they don't block faster traffic or that they are in the correct position for a mandatory vehicle inspection. What does this sign indicate to drivers? Option A. Only service vehicles are allowed to use this entrance during working hours. Option B. Vehicles should use this as the designated entry point for controlled premises. Option C. The correct choice is option B. Vehicles should use this as the designated entry point for controlled premises. This sign is used to manage the flow of traffic into private areas like warehouses, estates, or secure depots. It ensures that vehicles enter through the correct gate for security checks rather than accidentally using an exit-only lane. What does this sign indicate regarding vehicles? Option A. Slip road merging onto motorway. Option B. Motorway ends ahead. Option C. Vehicles leaving the motorway. Option A is correct. Slip road merging onto motorway. The sign serves as a warning to drivers already travelling on the motorway that a slip road is joining from the left. It alerts you to stay in your lane or move over if safe, allowing joining traffic to merge smoothly and safely into the flow. What does this informative road sign mean? Option A. Parking zone for overnight stays. Option B. Location of parking with emergency telephone. Option C. Phone booth near regular parking. Option B is the right answer. Location of parking with emergency telephone. This informative sign points to a safe place to pull over, such as a lay-by that is specifically equipped with an emergency telephone. It's a specialised safety point designed for drivers who are experiencing mechanical trouble or an emergency. What type of road is this sign used on? Option A. Motorway. Option B. Primary route. Option C. Local road. Option B is correct, primary route. This sign uses a green background, which is the specific colour code for primary routes in the UK. These are major A roads that form the main network between towns and cities, distinguishing them from blue motorway signs or white local road signs. What does this informative sign alert drivers about? Option A. Emergency helpline location. Option B. Hospital with accident and emergency services. Option C. Hospital without accident and emergency services. Option B is correct. Hospital with accident and emergency services. This informative sign uses the A and E text to guide drivers to a full-service hospital. This is the destination you should look for in an emergency, as it confirms the facility has the staff and equipment to handle critical injuries and urgent medical crises. What does this information sign indicate? Option A, hospital with emergency services. Option B, hospital for scheduled treatment only. Option C, hospital without A and E services. The correct answer here is option C, hospital without A and E services. The sign identifies a medical facility that provides specific care but does not have a 24-hour accident and emergency department. Drivers should not head here for life-threatening emergencies, as the hospital is not equipped for trauma cases. What does this road sign signify? Option A, non-primary route with an upcoming lane merging. Option B, primary route with an upcoming lane merging. Option C, end of dual carriageway. Option A is correct, non-primary route with an upcoming lane merging. This sign has a white background, indicating it is on a local or non-primary road. The symbol shows that the number of lanes is about to reduce, requiring drivers in the ending lane to merge safely with the traffic in the continuing lane. Why might a road display a sign indicating it is not suitable for HGVs? Option A, the road surface is made of gravel and may damage tyres. Option B, the road is under temporary construction work. Option C, the road may be too narrow or structurally weak for heavy vehicles. Option C is the correct choice. The road may be too narrow or structurally weak for heavy vehicles. This sign is a warning that the road ahead is physically not built for large trucks. It could mean the lanes are too narrow for two vehicles to pass, or that there is a bridge with a weight limit that an HGV might collapse or damage. What does this sign indicate to drivers? Option A, no parking allowed. Option B, private parking zone only. Option C, parking area available. Option C is correct, parking area available. The sign acts as a guide to show drivers exactly where they are permitted to leave their vehicles. It is often accompanied by smaller signs below it that detail specific time limits, costs, or permit requirements for that parking zone. What does this temporary road sign indicate to drivers? Option A, a routine police patrol is active in the area. Option B, a police-led incident or hazard ahead requires reduced speed and caution. Option C, drivers must stop immediately for a police check. Option B is correct. A police-led incident or hazard ahead requires reduced speed and caution. The sign is a temporary notice placed by officers to protect a scene. It informs you that there is an active incident, like a crash or a chemical spill, and requires you to slow down immediately to ensure the safety of emergency workers on the road. What is the purpose of this sign? Option A indicates a stepped pedestrian route. Option B, level pedestrian crossing ahead. Option C, escalator access for pedestrians. Option A is the right answer, indicates a stepped pedestrian route. The sign warns pedestrians and drivers alike that the path ahead consists of stairs. This is vital for safety planning, as it tells someone with a bicycle or a wheelchair that they will need to find an alternative ramped route to continue their journey. What is the purpose of this road sign? Option A, The road ahead narrows briefly and drivers must wait at marked points for signals to proceed. Option B, the road only allows one vehicle at a time, with space provided at intervals to let others pass. Option B is correct. The road only allows one vehicle at a time, with space provided at intervals to let others pass. This sign describes the nature of a single-track road. It warns drivers that the road is not wide enough for two cars to pass side by side, and that they must use the provided passing places to navigate the route safely. What is the meaning of this traffic sign? Option A, T-junction ahead. Option B, road closed permanently. Option C, no through road. Option C is correct, no through road. This sign is placed at the entrance of a street to inform drivers that the road is a dead end. It means that while you can enter the street, there is no exit for vehicles at the other end, so you will eventually have to turn around to leave. On a narrow road, what does this road sign alert drivers to? Option A, it's a designated spot where drivers can allow oncoming vehicles to pass. Option B, it's an area where vehicles must stop and wait for oncoming traffic to clear. Option C, it's a temporary stopping point for delivery vehicles. Option A is the correct answer. It's a designated spot where drivers can allow oncoming vehicles to pass. This sign marks a passing place on a very narrow single-track road. It tells you that there is a wide section of the road ahead where you can pull in to let an oncoming vehicle pass, or where they can pull in to let you through. When might drivers be permitted to use the hard shoulder on a motorway? Option A, when instructed by police during an emergency situation. Option B, when driving below the minimum speed limit. Option C, when your exit is approaching and traffic is heavy. Option A is correct, when instructed by police during an emergency situation. The sign reminds drivers that the hard shoulder is not a normal driving lane. You are only permitted to drive on it if a police officer or a traffic officer specifically directs you to, or if digital overhead signs on a smart motorway show it is open to traffic. What does this road sign typically mean? Option A, the road ends ahead and access is only available by walking. Option B, the road may be unsafe for motor vehicles due to narrow paths or steep gradients. Option C, the road has poor grip or loose surfaces that could damage normal tyres. Option B is the correct choice. The road may be unsafe for motor vehicles due to narrow paths or steep gradients. The sign is a strong advisory warning. It tells drivers that while the road might technically be open, a standard motor vehicle is likely to get stuck or damaged because the path is too steep, too narrow, or has an extremely rough surface. What does this informative sign imply? Option A, water pressure in underground pipes. Option B, tidal warning for coastal roads. Option C, depth of water at a ford. Option C is correct, depth of water at a ford. The sign is a depth gauge located at a ford, where a road crosses a stream. It allows a driver to see the actual depth of the water in feet or meters before they attempt to drive through, helping to prevent the vehicle from being swept away or stalled. What does this road sign inform drivers about the road ahead? Option A, no through road in the direction indicated from the next junction. Option B, one-way traffic system begins at the junction. Option C, temporary roadworks ahead with diversion. Option A is correct. No through road in the direction indicated from the next junction. The sign features a red bar on one specific branch of a junction diagram. It tells the driver that if they turn in that specific direction at the next junction, they will enter a dead-end street with no through access to other roads. What does this informative road sign indicate? Option A, to allow parking for any vehicle involved in police patrol duties. Option B, to permit temporary parking for police patrol vehicles. Option C, to reserve parking exclusively for police patrol vehicles for operational readiness. Option C is the right answer, to reserve parking exclusively for police patrol vehicles for operational readiness. The sign creates a restricted parking zone that only official police cars can use. This is done to ensure that patrol cars can be parked centrally for rapid response or left near a station without being blocked by public vehicles. What does this sign signify for large vehicles? Option A, large vehicles must exit the motorway immediately. Option B, large vehicles must leave the motorway if instructed. Option C, large vehicles should prepare to stop on motorway. Option B is correct. Large vehicles must leave the motorway if instructed. This sign is a mandatory instruction used during emergencies or roadworks. If a police officer or a traffic sign directs heavy or large vehicles to exit, they must do so immediately, often because the road ahead has weight or height restrictions. What should drivers do when they notice this sign? Option A, prepare to stop and proceed with caution. Option B, continue driving at normal speed unless told otherwise. Option C, turn around and find an alternative route. Option A is the correct answer. Prepare to stop and proceed with caution. The sign warns of an accident scene that is being managed by the police. Drivers must significantly reduce their speed and be ready to stop if a police officer signals them, as there may be debris, victims, or emergency vehicles blocking the path. What is the meaning of this informative sign? Option A, pedestrian walkway starts in 100 yards. Option B, entry point for runners in 100 yards. Option C, emergency exit 100 yards ahead. Option C is correct. Emergency exit 100 yards ahead. This sign is most commonly seen in tunnels or long underpasses. It provides the exact distance to the nearest pedestrian safety exit, which is vital information if you need to evacuate your vehicle due to a fire, smoke, or a major collision. What does this road sign represent? Option A, service station in 1/2 mile. Option B, toll booth in 1/2 mile. Option C, emergency phone ahead in 1/2 mile. Option C is the right answer. Emergency phone ahead in 1/2 mile. The sign shows the distance to a roadside SOS phone. These are essential if your vehicle breaks down and you don't have a mobile signal, as they connect you directly to the Highways England Control Centre to arrange for professional recovery or help. What does this informative sign indicate about the subway entrance? Option A, staircase entrance only. Option B, ramped entrance suitable for pedestrians and wheelchair users. Option C, no access for wheelchair users. Option B is correct. Ramped entrance suitable for pedestrians and wheelchair users. This informative sign is crucial for accessibility. It indicates that the entrance to the subway or walkway is sloped rather than stepped, making it the correct route for wheelchair users, people with strollers, or anyone who cannot use stairs. Great job for completing UK driving theory test. How many questions did you get correct? Let us know your score in the comments and see how you're improving with each test. If this practice helped boost your confidence for the DVSA theory exam, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more UK driving theory tests and road sign quizzes. Keep practicing, stay focused, and good luck on your theory test.